Hello everyone, welcome to SwastiVishwa Institute Foundation's Career Counseling webinar. Thank you for joining us. And my name is Meghna Deshpande. I am a clinical psychologist at SwastiVishwa Institute. So we are a Section 8 non-profit organization that harness deep expertise in applied psychology, behavioral and social sciences to spark holistic transformation. We empower individuals, organizations, and communities through clinical mental health services, evidence based training and OD consulting, and collaborative social well being initiatives. We also do research projects to turn knowledge into meaningful change. So, as a part of our services, we also have the career counseling services. And today, we will be exploring the importance of career guidance and counseling and how students can develop their career plan, define their goals and aspirations, and how they can navigate towards their goals. To talk about this, we have our esteemed speakers. Firstly, we have Dr. Prachee Joeg. She is an experienced psychologist with 29 years of experience. She has completed her MA and MPhil and PhD. She is also a certified Pearson career counselor and Beck Institute trained CBT practitioner. She has steered students, professionals, and people with mid career change towards fulfilling paths. She has also taught psychology and research methodology at the postgraduate level. So, welcome, Dr. Prachee Joeg. I would like you also to say a few lines about yourself.
Thank you very much, Meghna, for that very warm and lovely introduction. Thanks to SwastiVishwa for hosting this lovely career guidance seminar. As Meghna said, I have this so many years of teaching experience, mainly teaching college students, undergraduates and graduates in psychology. And post that, I have started career guiding and mentoring students of various fields, into various fields. And I have been in this for the last 3 years now. So that is a little bit about me.
Thank you, Dr. Prachee. I'll also introduce our next speaker. She is Dr. Swati Karve. Let me just add her as a spotlight. So she is the founder of SwastiVishwa Institute Foundation. She has a career of more than 25 years that spans across education, corporate consulting, and mental health. She has also done projects with major multinational companies in India and USA and has done various projects and been a faculty in psychology and management in India and USA. She is a master trainer and conducts training in leadership, management, personal and professional development for companies ranging from large MNCs to small NGOs. She is also a trained psychotherapist trained in cognitive behavior therapy from Beck Institute, USA. So, ma'am, a warm welcome to you. Can you also please give some information about yourself?
Thank you, Meghna, for that wonderful introduction. And you have given the highlights. But in terms of my teaching, just like Dr. Prachee, I've got more than like 30 years experience working with students. And as a part of my teaching career, I used to also help students in writing their SOP, statement of purposes, their short-term, long-term goals. And I was very actively involved in the placement cells of the colleges where I taught, which was Symbiosis, SIBM, SEM, HRD, and other places. And I've done career guidance to some extent. I have not I don't have certificates in career guidance, but as a part of being a faculty and working with placement cells and other such other such circumstances, I've been in this field for a long time, and I basically serve as a mentor to students, suggesting to them various courses that they can pursue, or suggest to them whether they can go for career counseling or career guidance, where to take help from, what resources to search. So that much of mentoring, guiding, coaching I am able to help the students with. So, but we have Dr. Prachee Joeg, who is highly qualified in this particular field, and really nice to have you here for our webinar.
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
Let's look at what this career development is. When we talk about career guidance, as this is the topic of today's webinar, let's look at what career development per se is. Now, career development is a proactive, lifelong process of finding your footing and advancing your career path. And it's very intentional, which includes long-term goals. It's not about just getting a job. So when we talk about career development, career planning, it is something long-term. Your job is an entry into a field. And with that, we hear these words. What is a job? What is an occupation? What is a career? So a job is a very specific role within an organization with very specific responsibilities. So when you are looking at your career, what is the career that you want to pursue? You will be looking at what are the different jobs in that career. What is it that you want to do? That is the job. And the occupation is that broad field. So, for example, teaching is an occupation, and then counseling is an occupation. Medicine can be like an occupation, but within that occupation, there are very specific jobs, like job of a teacher, job of a counselor, job of a doctor. Again, when you say doctor, what type of doctor, right? So those are jobs. And career really is your long-term plan. Like it is like how you navigate your development along your professional development. And then you may hold different jobs, or you may change your occupations. And if you want to do this, what do you need to do? So career is this long-term plan. And when we say career guidance, career assessment, career counseling, we are not looking at a specific job per se. We are looking at the career, the entire short-term and long-term planning, and how you go about doing that. And when you have a career development plan, first of all, you start soon. You start early, like in your college, when you're an undergrad. Start thinking about what are your aspirations? What do you want to do? What are the skill sets you have? What are your strengths and weaknesses? What do you want to achieve? Right? And details, actionable steps that you need to take. And how do you monitor your own progress? How do you monitor your growth? So career development starts right from high school level, because that's the time you start thinking about what are you interested in? What do you want to do? So all these questions are career related questions as you navigate your personal and professional life. And then choosing the right career path begins with this career guidance or career counseling as required. And as you will see in this presentation, there is a slight difference between career guidance, career counseling. They're all related, but there are small differences. And this is what we want to explain in today's webinar. And with that, let me invite Dr. Prachee Joeg for the next part of this, where she is going to give us a framework of how to make career choices and how to go about on this path of choosing careers. So, Dr. Prachee, you can take over from here. I will stop sharing and you can share your screen.
Thank you, Dr. Swati. I'll start sharing. Give me a minute to get my slides out. Yeah.
We have, in the meantime, we have Twisha here. Where are you from, Twisha?
Yeah, I'm from Mumbai, Andheri.
Very nice. Are you a student?
Yes.
Very good. Call your friends to join in if you think that this is going to be fun.
Yes, but all of them are in classes right now, so.
Oh, they're in classes. Okay. Yeah.
All right. So here we are. Yes. So, yeah. So thank you very much, Swati, for that wonderful setting of the stage as to what exactly is career guidance all about. And I'm glad you mentioned the differences between jobs, occupations, and a career. because this is something that most of us keep using. These are words that we keep using interchangeably. But like you rightly pointed out, we are more interested in the long-term planning, which is career planning. All right. Now, most of the people who come to me for career planning are often very confused, and rightly so, because the career landscape today is changing drastically. And you will see that many of them and their parents come to me saying that, we are confused because what are the choices? There are so many of them. I don't know what to choose. Which is the right choice for me? I don't know that. So that is one aspect of the career landscape today. The second aspect is that, everything is changing fast, which is that what were very stable occupations, earlier, they are no longer as stable. I was just reading the example of, ticketing, for instance, a simple example. Earlier, we used to often go to, people to get our tickets done for travel purposes, but no longer so. So we had ticketing agents, we had travel agents. That whole genre of, people of that, of doing those jobs completely changed. Okay, so you no longer have so much of reliance on ticketing agents at all, if at all. All right. That's just one example. And there are several, I'm sure all of you can think of several. As well as, we keep hearing about this. AI is going to take over your jobs. There are massive technological shifts happening. There is an upgrade that is going to be required in most careers. You will have to, keep up with the changing landscape of careers. So in this kind of a triple C scenario, confusing, chaotic, changing, and challenging, how do you keep pace? All right. So this is what we're going to see. We all have certain dreams, and we want to manifest them into reality. And there's one thing that is going to remain, I think, safely constant across your career. And we just saw what a career is that entire set of jobs and occupations that you will be doing throughout your, probably for a long span in your life, right? So in that, there's something constant. And what is constant is going to be this dance between the self and the world. Understanding yourself is always going to be important. Understanding your interests, your skills, your traits, the circumstances that you are in right now, because a lot of your, next career moves are going to depend on the circumstances, your family circumstances, your economic circumstances. So all that will have to be factored or taken into account, okay, in understanding yourself. All right. And the second aspect is, of course, you spend a lot of time understanding yourself. You also have to spend some time and understanding the world around you. And what is that? That is, what are the interesting occupations in that, in your field, broad field of choice? How are the, how is the entire landscape changing? How these jobs align with your value, okay, system, all this. And firstly, I would say many youngsters just need to become aware of the number of, number of jobs, number of different kinds of jobs that you have in a particular field of choice. All right. So this thing, this dynamic between you and the world, what the world needs, what do you have, what are the skills and strengths you have, is going to be constant, right? So this is at least something that you can keep in mind throughout your career, I would say. All right. So within this very, fast changing and dynamic scenario, what would help you, to make a career decision? There is a general model that is used for many decision-making purposes, and we are going to follow that model to see how you can use it to make a career decision. This is called the DECIDES model. All right. Now, if you look at DECIDES, this is, of course, an acronym for all these different steps, okay, in career decision making. So the first step is to define the problem. The second, E, is to establish the action plan. C would be to clarify values. I is identify alternatives, okay, for your career plan. D would be to discover probable outcomes of these choices, all right? E would be to eliminate alternatives systematically, and S would be to start the action, all right? So this becomes the DECIDES model, okay? Now let's look at the first step, defining the problem. A lot of, since I face a lot of clients who come with, or students who come with this question, I have so many choices, I can't decide. That could be one of the ways in which you define your career problem. All right. Another way in which that many of the students come up with is that, well, I have some vague ideas about this particular occupation, but I would like to know much more. And a third group can be that I have no strengths, I don't know what my interests are. That can also happen, all right? So you could be in any of these, you could belong to any of these, categories. There are several more categories, okay, or groups of career problems or career issues that, or career concerns that you may have, all right? But the important first step for you is always to define the problem, all right? What is the problem that you are facing currently? Spend some time in asking yourself, really, what is my career issue? All right. Or what is my current career concern? I would also suggest that you write it down somewhere, because writing helps to, clarify your thoughts. Okay. I think so you could be writing it like, the problem I face in my career planning is dash, that I don't know what to do. I know I have choices, but I can't decide, and so on. So if you write it down, you have written down and gained some clarity as to what exactly is the problem that you're facing. All right. The step would, of course, then be establish an action plan. All right. Now your action plan, you see how it depends on the way you have defined the problem. All right. So for example, someone who's saying that I don't know what my interests are, I don't know what my, strengths are, I have no clue about it, or I have some vague ideas, but I don't know what it is, then they would have to make some kind of a plan as to what are their, interests like, what are their strengths and skills that they already have, what is their aptitude, and so on. Okay. So, but for someone who says, okay, I've done aptitude testing, I know what my strengths are, I know several things about myself, but I don't know about various careers. Then obviously your next step would be, what are the various careers if I have these kind of interests and strengths, then what are the various careers within this particular subject? Now, you say, why this is easy, right? I mean, I just have to find out my strengths, I have to find out careers, but you also have to take action, okay? And that is, the action would be, how do you find this out? You can talk to your mentors, friends, teachers about this, and also to your career guidance counselors, all right? So that's your action plan. Now you have done all your homework. so far you've established some action plan, what to do, and then the next step comes, that is clarifying your values. This is something that we often don't think of. We know that careers are often based on our interests and our skill set and strengths and so on. But we often don't think of what is it that we really want from our career. All right. And by career, again, remember the definition, it's the long term planning view, it's not that short term job. Okay. So, what exactly do you have in mind for your long term? All right. So, for instance, if I choose X as a career, what kind of values am I fulfilling? Okay, is it that I'm going to get financial stability, and that's important to me? Work life balance. A lot of clients come with this question or this concern that, I like this career, but is it going to give me some kind of time with my family? Am I going to have this work life balance? Because I've seen a lot of people getting burnt out in this career. So, work life balance, connection. Some of you may be wanting that, especially during the COVID time, we had this disconnect with a lot of people. And that's when we realize how lonely things can be, how disconnectedness feels, okay, really. And therefore we may want this kind of connect with, and we were, by the end of that lockdown period, we wanted to go back to meeting people, we wanted to go back to even work and meet all the people at work, because that gives us connection. All right. So connection. Some of us may also long for a career that gives status and respectability, okay, for whatever reasons. And some of us may want careers that give us more meaning, more meaningful careers, meaningful for others, and making a difference to the world, those type of careers. So there are many, as you're seeing, there are a lot of different values, and our ranking of these values, our prioritizing of these values is going to determine our value system. All right. And that kind of an exercise is also important. uh, as youngsters, you may need to get some more experience before your value system gets crystallized, okay? And that's fine. But from whatever you've experienced right now, what is it that you really want? That is also an important consideration, okay? Once you do this, then you have to, of course, identify alternatives, all right, based on your interests, based on your values, based on your skill sets, and all that you found out about occupations out there, okay? You need to identify what are the alternatives. So, for example, I'm just giving you an example of one such thing. I'm interested in teaching. I have a good communication skills, presentation skills, I have an aptitude which shows I'm great at verbal reasoning. I value teaching, especially those who come from less advantaged backgrounds. Now, in that case, what could be some of my job choices and then career choices? I could start off as, so school teaching could be one, school teaching in government schools could be one, becoming a curriculum developer could be another, starting a non-profit for teaching children from underserved communities could be a third. All right, so you see how if you've defined something, you can go and look for jobs that would be, aligned with whatever you have found out about yourself. All right. So there are a lot of choices here. Now, you may say, fine, if there are so many choices, again, we come to the same question, how do I eliminate? How do I hit upon what is a good, at least for now, what is a good career choice for me? Okay. Now, there are several ways of doing this. And one way is to know, what could be the probable outcomes if I were to take up this particular, let's say, school teacher job in a government school, or working with or starting an NGO for school for children who come from disadvantaged backgrounds. So now how do I, how do I find out what could be the probable outcome of this? There are many different ways, but the best ways are realistic, which is you go and you volunteer. All right, you volunteer as an assistant school. No one is going to take you as school teacher directly because you don't have the qualifications right now, but you can do volunteer work. You can find out more. You can do job shadowing, which is following a person throughout his or her day of work. You can do internships. You can identify some role models in that field, okay, who you look up to, and see how their career trajectory has taken place. And thirdly, and most importantly, the easiest way is, of course, social media these days, because there are so many documentaries, there's so many interviews, there are podcasts, there are career podcasts which you can listen to, where you will get to know about many of these, people who are doing certain things, and you will be able to follow what is it that they do throughout the day, how did they get into this job, what do they find interesting, what are the skill sets required for this job. All this and more you'll get to know through these various documentaries, interviews with people, listening to career podcasts about different careers. Yeah. Well, now, if you've done all this, it should be easy for you to then eliminate alternatives systematically. Now, you can do this by looking at how does this course that I'm going to do fit into my long-term goal? Does it fit into my short-term goal? What are the pros and cons of each of these choices? Okay. And firstly, you have to be very clear, therefore, of your long-term and short-term goals. All right. And so now there is nothing more left for you to do except the biggest step, and that is start the action. Take the next steps. A lot of us spend a lot of time designing things, preparing things, but never taking the next step. So the most important, of course, after doing all this would be to start the action, take the next steps. Okay. Now, so much for career planning. However, any of you who have been following people and the work that they do, the jobs that they do, you will see that many of the greatest careers are not planned. Okay, or many of them started with planning, but there were some circumstances that changed or completely overturned their way of looking at things. And therefore, we say that some of the greatest careers are not even planned. Okay. And in these cases, it becomes very important for us to look at how is it exactly that, or what is it that these people did that made them change and pivot in their careers. Okay. And can we be really prepared for something that we even don't know of? All right. So there are a lot of, in short, there are a lot of unplanned career choices as well. And we need to become a little more aware of what is it that we need to do, therefore, if we are faced with such situations where we have to change, where we have to pivot. Okay. So we have something very interesting by this career theorist, Crumbles, who talks about the concept of planned happenstance. That is, certain things happen to you, and you therefore change your course of action. You get into a different career or a different career path. Now, why does this happen? When does this happen? Are there certain attitudes that we need to develop at least to become open to this and convert, these new circumstances into opportunities and opportunities that we can use? There are several examples of this. But I think the biggest thing that college students or youngsters or even anyone else in their career journey has to take into account is these these attitudes or this mindset that you need to develop. Okay, the first of this is curiosity. Okay, there are a lot of examples of people, who were very curious about certain things, and I'm sure you can think of several such people, and they got into their what is now their career. I was reading about Saurabh Bothra, who is started Habild, the very successful yoga, teaching kind of enterprise. And there's an interesting story about him that how did he get into this? Now, he was traveling in a train from Banaras. He's actually an engineer by training. So he was traveling from Banaras Hindu University, where he was studying, to his hometown in Nagpur. And that's where he met up with a group of people who were talking very passionately about, changing up or cleaning up a pond in Banaras, I think. And they were talking, as if this was the most important thing, this service to people. And he got curious. He got intrigued by their conversation and he started talking to them. He learned that they were all yoga practitioners, as well as those who were interested in serving the community. And he got very interested in this particular aspect. At the end of the journey, he kind of offered them food, and as a token of gratitude, they offered him some kind of training in training in yoga. And that's how he said he has gotten into it. So if it weren't for his curiosity, he would not have, or intrigue, he would not have bothered. We listen to so many such conversations, we get interested and so on, but we never really bother to find out more. Okay, it's curiosity, and I'm sure you yourself, if you think, you will come up with a lot of examples of people who have been curious and have stumbled upon what is the right career for them. A second attitude is that of persistence. Okay, do I persist in reaching my goals when things get tough? Okay, there have been many people who have failed and failed and failed and found the right career choice. I was listening to a podcast, and this is because this is appeals to youngsters. I'm talking about this of a stand-up comedian and how she got into this. After, she is actually a lawyer in the US, and she got into this stand-up comedian thing after failing in so many different fields. Okay, she herself says that. So that's an excellent example of persistence. Okay, then you have flexibility. Do I have flexible ways of dealing with the unexpected things in my life? Okay, some things that happen unexpectedly, can I just take them as an opportunity? And that brings us to the fourth attitude, and that is of optimism. Do I keep my enthusiasm alive in and benefit from different circumstances? Okay, and of course, risk taking. I'm sure you know of several businessmen, several people who've taken risks in their life, and that's how they have succeeded. Okay, now you have to ask yourself whether you know of uh, when is it that I've taken a risk? When was the last time I took a risk and I learned something new? What impedes my risk? I'm not a very strong risk taker. Okay, What are the actions I take during times of uncertainty? Do I act or do I freeze during times of uncertainty? Okay. So these attitudes are going to help you to actually get into something new, keeping your eyes and ears open to change your entire, the circumstances that you're faced with an opportunity. Okay. Now, how do you bring all these skills into practice? I would say end of the day journaling is a very interesting way of seeing whether you are putting any of these skills or this entire mindset into practice. You can ask yourself, how did I let my curiosity guide me today? Am I really curious or not? What is something new that I learned today, which I never planned on learning? Okay. Obstacle that I'm encountering time and time again, yet I'm persisting. Okay. There have been so many examples of people who have persisted despite of facing severe obstacles, severe personal struggles. You know of J.K. Rowling, of course, who wrote the famous Harry Potter series, how she faced a lot of obstacles, poverty and unemployment, so many things, okay, before she even became a successful writer that she is today. But these are very, big names that I'm talking about. All this need not just be with those who are famous, okay? I'm sure you will see a lot of people around you who've come through due to the same mindset, okay? And you ask them, you'll realize, oh, they faced these obstacles, yet they persisted, okay? And what were the tough moments today and how I can turn them into a learning experience. I think if you go with these kind of questions for your journal, I'm sure you will be able to put all these skills, this entire mindset into practice. Okay. Yeah. So I think this is what I had to say. Maybe Swati can add more to all that I have said. Swati, can you take over?
Okay.
We cannot hear you.
Thank you, Prachee, for that wonderful presentation. It brought together all those ideas so well. And I'm sure people who watch the recording of this are going to take away a lot from your lecture. So with that, let me just recap. So there is, with the examples that you shared and all the, details that you were talking about, let's just recap what the students need to do now. Okay, so one was the decides framework. How do you go through each of the steps of the decides and take this action plan? So some of the very, I hope I'm sharing the screen. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and yeah. So Prachi, you are sharing the screen, right?
Yeah, I'll
So
share.
when it
No problem.
okay, so when it comes to the next screen, I will just tell you
Yes,
to
yes.
move ahead. Okay. So one of the things that students can do right now is to start networking. Now, networking is a fantastic opportunity for students to meet professionals in a particular field. Especially networking helps if you already know, like if you are an undergrad who is doing engineering, or maybe law or medicine, or maybe even undergrad in a BSc, BA kind of a field, which is general. So, so make sure that you start networking with people, with professionals, join various associations, professional associations. And a lot of these associations actually have student membership rates, which are discounted rates. And there you can make use of networks to get, internships, to get observerships, to get some field work. Do a lot of field work, go out there and check what is, especially if you are in fields, where you're related, where you're working with communities. So go and do some field work. Volunteering is a fantastic opportunity for students to grow their careers. So if you, in your college, if you have NSS, I myself was a part of NSS in my college, and that particular experience that I had in NSS, it cannot be replaced by any job, formal job. These are life-changing experiences. So go and volunteer in various communities, your own community also. You can start a volunteering group. Go and do some observations. Look for internships. Now, a lot of students will think, oh, internship is not paying. It's okay. You are still studying. Uh, if you are a paid intern, then you need to have the competencies where you can be paid for what you do. But internships can also be student internships, where even if you have to pay a small fee, please pay that fee and grow professionally. So go for internships, go for immersive experiences. So there could be adventure things, there could be different clubs or whatever it is in the communities. You can go and actually join an excursion group or something where which is giving you these immersive experiences, maybe going to some other country or whatever. Talking to people from, can you be on that slide, please?
Yeah.
That same
Sorry.
slide. Yeah, go to the next slide. Yeah, go to the next slide. Yeah. So talking to experts from different fields, can you just go to that?
Previous one?
Yes, yes, I have not finished that. Or I'll share my
Sorry.
screen.
Got it.
Yeah, let me share otherwise. Okay. So talking to experts from different fields, this will give you a lot of insights into what the field actually entails. For example, there are various new careers which are coming up. One of our relatives, he is like, say, for example, a deep sea diver. Now that's such a unique profession. So go and talk to this person who, go and listen to their experiences. Somebody is in the merchant navy. Go and talk to a person in the merchant navy to find out what that job entails, because they are going to tell you the pluses and minuses of the jobs, right? So make sure that you're talking to all these experts. Lot of YouTube videos, there are very good channels that you can watch where, like the whole world of work, there are some YouTube videos which are focused on very specific occupations. So like occupation of a truck driver, occupation of a miner, occupation of a astronaut. I mean, there could be like different things that you need to do. So watch those videos which are going to tell you about the occupations. And then self-reflection and understanding oneself. This is extremely important. And in the Decide framework that Dr. Prachee shared, she actually has touched upon this already, like reflecting, journaling. Work with vision boards. So start off with a vision board to think that, okay, what do I want to do after 3 years, after 5 years, after 10 years? Where do I see myself? What do I see myself doing? Do I see myself as heading a organization? Do I see myself heading a department? Do I see myself teaching? Do I see myself practicing as a doctor? Whatever that is. So you start with a vision board and write down your short and long-term goals. A number of students, when we ask them to write a statement of purpose or a long-term and short-term goals, they're stumped right there. They are not able to express what they want to do specifically as a short-term and long-term goal. And a statement of purpose. Now, if you are this, some students, if you are applying for courses outside India, a lot of universities ask you a statement of purpose. This is very important to know. And whether you are applying in India or applying outside India, this statement of purpose will help you, even if your college is not asking, why do you want to study a course? So suppose you want to do masters in chemistry. Why do you want to do it? What are you going to do afterwards? How does it align with your long and short term goals? So learn how to write a statement of purpose, whether your school or university is asking for it or not. So in college, you have to start thinking very actively and very consciously about what you want to do. And these are some of the steps that we have suggested over here. Okay, next slide, please. In career guidance and counseling, there are certain terms which can be very confusing. And so we have a lot of different types of counselors. One are the guidance counselors. Now, guidance counselors help students navigate these academic choices and personal issues. And of course, study habits, life skills development, and they can do some amount of career counseling also. So they may tell you, what courses to choose, how to build your daily habits and discipline and all that kind of thing. There are admission counselors. Admission counselors are typically counselors who help you how to get into colleges. They guide you through your application forms, your essays. They may go through your essay and give you some feedback. They will remind you of the deadlines, and they will also tell you, where you can apply, what subjects you may need to take in the high school, or how you can build your resume in the high school so that you can get into a good college, especially if you are doing something outside India. And now, of course, with the NEP in India, there are a lot of other lot of things are changing in India.
Yeah.
So these admission counselors will help you to get admission into colleges, or that part of it. The school counselors are counselors who are working with the schools, and they provide counseling, short-term counseling, crisis support, and they are responsible, or they take care of the mental health of students and emotional well-being of the students. Some school counselors may be doing career counseling as well, but not all. And then, of course, there are career counselors who are experts in assessments. They interpret the tests, they administer the tests, they know what test to give. So when you say career counselor, the job of career counselor is not only to do the testing, but they can talk to the student, they can find out what the student actually wants, needs, and then they can suggest, okay, you may need to take an aptitude test, you may need to take an interest test or a personality test, or whatever test is required. So the career counselor will suggest the test, they will look at the scores, they will interpret the scores, and they will do it holistically, not just give you a report and say that, okay, now you can do this career. So it's a very holistic kind of a report discussion. Okay, so next slide, please. Right. And now once the student knows that, if you have done the decides steps that Dr. Prachee explained, and if you have already done, a lot of your homework and all this, you may already know that, okay, this is a career which is exciting for me. This is what I will look at. But suppose you are still confused, you want to know more, you want to assess your, your aptitudes or personality and do a career assessment, then you go through a career counseling process. So first of all, and this is very generic, this is the process we also do in our institute. So first of all, there is an exploratory session where we explore the client's interest, personality, aptitude. There is a counseling session like before the assessment. So career counseling doesn't mean assessments. So there is one exploratory session, like, you could make decisions like, which major are you choosing, what is it that you want to do you want to change the field, do you want to go from arts to commerce, commerce to arts, whatever that is, do you want to take science, do you want to take chemistry, physics, or bio, whatever, A, B, whatever it is, do you want to do an MBA, or do you want to do a MA or MSc, those kind of things. Then there is a test administration as required. So this could be inventories, interest inventories, aptitude tests, personality tests, work values. So a lot of different tests are there. After the test is scored, you have a report discussion. Now the report discussion will be a detailed discussion. Like, for example, there could be cost benefit, or pros and cons. If I do this, then, what are the pros of this career choice or that career choice? How is it fitting with your long-term and short-term objectives? And then the counselor will help you to also develop this long-term plan and that actionable steps that we spoke about, right? What is it that we need to do next? And of course, the counselor is always there to provide guidance and mentoring afterwards also. So this is the career counseling process. Now for students, it's very important to know if you are confused, if you want to know what would be a good fit for you, then it's nice to, go and talk to people like mentors, guides, people in the, in the position. And if you are still confused, then please go and seek the help of a career counselor, a well qualified career counselor who will help you. Lot of people who, there are a lot of career counseling courses there. There are people who may not be, who are just doing a certificate course. They may not have that experience in career counseling. So make sure that you are going to the right person for the career advice that you need. Okay, so yeah, next slide, please. And the role of assessments in career counseling is it gives you a lot of insight, self-insight. It gives you objective baseline. It is because the assessments are based on standardized data. So it's not subjective, completely subjective. And it can help you match, like the test scores will, like whatever data that you get can be matched into personal profiles and occupations. And it also gives you a graphical feedback, percentile ranks. So it allows, that curiosity about ourselves, like, okay, what do these scores actually mean? And you get motivated to find out more, motivated to look at options, right? And then the assessment will also help you to look at your scores and monitor your progress. Suppose, for example, the assessment says that this is a particular area where you need to acquire skills. So this is my baseline score on that skill, and you want to achieve that career. So maybe I need to practice this a little bit more. I need to study this particular subject. I need to maybe study, get trained on this particular skill. So it also teaches you how to, in your planning, it tells you what to do next about your own development. And then you can monitor your own progress. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, so with that, we have given you the entire, how to go about from thinking about your career to how to take, what to do, and then the next steps. So we hope that this was very informative for you. And if at all you know anyone who requires career counseling, career guidance, you can tell them that, okay, these are the steps you need to do. And this will be recorded, put on our YouTube channel. And this will be accessible to everyone. We will be sharing this. And any questions, we do have questions here. Thank you, Anita. Thank you so much. We have a student, Twisha, here. So Twisha, do you have any questions?
No,
It
it was
was
very
this?
informative.
Thank you very much. So, what would you tell your friends?
I will ask them to if they have any doubts, I'll ask them to talk to you.
Oh, okay. Please tell them to watch this. We will be sharing the link to this recording. So we had a lot of registrations, but people have not joined the call. But I think they will probably see the recording afterwards. So, any other questions? We did have someone else who had popped in. Okay, we don't have her. I think Shilpa had popped in. Okay. So with that, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Dr. Prachee. If there's anything you would like to say, Dr. Prachee, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Swati. This was really a very useful session for me to do, because this is a way I can reach out to people who need career guidance, who have a very, vague understanding or a very, minimal understanding of what is career guidance all about. And I think this is one way for me to reach out to most of the 12th and undergrad students who may have these questions, right? So
Absolutely.
that's
And SwastiVishwa Institute will always provide a platform to those professionals who want to make a change, who want to contribute. And Dr. Prachee, thank you for all that you do. And it was our pleasure and honor to have you and discuss about career guidance with our students, who a lot of them who really, really need it.
thank you. I would like
Thank
to
you.
also thank the entire team at SwastiVishwa for putting all this together. Just hope that it reaches the people and the students who really require this guidance.
Require it. Very true.
Yeah.
And thank you, Meghna, Akansha, for your help and your assistance, guidance. And thank you, Anita and Twisha, for being here in this webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Yeah, we can close the